Under the guidance and support of our respected chairperson ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Amita Chauhan ma'am, we bring to you the first episode of Amity Impact. I'm your host Mayank, and in this podcast, we bring to you conversations between students and alumni, from journey of success and failure to lessons that truly shape us. This is where the real voices are heard. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. It's an absolute honor to have Mr. Tanmay Goel with us, a distinguished alumni of Amity International School, Pushvihar, a graduate of the 2015 batch. Mr. Tanmay, we would love to hear your journey till here.
Yes, for sure. Thanks so much for having me, Mayank. So, yeah, as you mentioned, so I'm a very proud alumni of Amity International School, Pushvihar. I was there till 2015, where I graduated, and then after that I ended up going to study computer science at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. There I also did a minor in entrepreneurship, which as I will tell a little bit more will come into play. And then after that I ended up moving to Japan. So I worked in Tokyo at Rakuten. So I worked as a product manager there. And during that time I then started preparing for my MBA, for which I went to Kellogg School of Management in the US, in Chicago, where I did a dual degree. So I did an MBA as well as a master's in design. So now I have 3 degrees, lots of degrees hanging around. But yeah, so I did my MBA there, and then last year I decided to move back to India, and I started Emo Needs, which is a mental health startup. The goal of Emo Needs is to make mental health more accessible and affordable in our country, and my personal mission is that I want everyone to be a better version of themselves, to find growth, and I think mental health is one of the ways by which we can do that. So yeah, so that's kind of like my journey till now. It's still a long way to go, but very happy to see how the last 10 years have been ever since I graduated from Amity.
That's great. Tell us about your experience at Amity. What kind of student were you? How did school shape you to who you are today?
Yeah, so I think it's a very interesting question because I had many different phases at Amity. I always tried to be, good at my studies as well. But one of the things that I really enjoyed about my school was there's so many extracurricular activities. So I was doing everything from MUN. I was in the school band. I was, doing all sorts of different competitions as well. So yeah, I was all over the place, but in a good way. And I think one thing I would really like to say is thanks a lot to respected chairperson ma'am for creating this kind of environment where all of us can thrive and explore different things. And yeah, my tips always to students is that they should try as many things as possible that the school provides. And then this is the time when you can figure out what kind of student you are, right? So yeah, so I think I was a good student. If I look back, that's what I would like to say. Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
So we also know that you've had a background in computer science. When did you decide on choosing computer science as a subject that you'll pursue in future?
Yeah, so I think around 2013, 2015, that was when there was a big startup boom happening in India, right? A lot of computer science engineers going on to start their own big companies. Think of all your e-commerce companies today, they all started like that. And I was really passionate about critical thinking, logic, these kind of subjects. So computer science seemed like the natural next progression, and it was a tough decision because there were so many other things that I wanted to study, but eventually I landed on computer science because I thought that would give me a lot of more skills that I can apply to any other space that I'm passionate about. Yeah.
And for our young viewers out there, 12th graders, 11th graders, why do you choose to pursue MBA later in future?
Yeah, so MBA is a really good time, after you've worked for a few years. MBA is a really good way to, refresh whatever you want to do. So after I'd worked for around 4 years, as a product manager, then I wanted to explore entrepreneurship because that was always my long-term plan. And I think MBA is a place where you can really learn everything around business from accounting, finance, all the way to entrepreneurship, how to be a good leader. That's important. Secondly, the network you get at your MBA is unparalleled. I think a lot of the people that I studied with will end up being founders, will end up being CEOs of different companies. And I think that's a really good network to have. And secondly, I think it's just a really like the way Amity was during school, you know, where you had so many people around you who always kept pushing you to be a better version of yourself. I think MBA is the adult version of that. So yeah, so I think it's a really good way to explore, and also it was a way to explore how education is taught in other countries as well. So I got to learn the American way of education, which was also very interesting combined with whatever I knew from before. So a lot of reasons, but I think MBA is a really good career pusher. If you want to accelerate your career, if you want to switch into a different career path, or if you want to start your own company, it's a really good time to learn a lot of things really quickly, and then you go out into the real world and you can start applying them. Yeah.
Since you've been few years outside India, abroad, how was your experience there? Were there any problems that you faced?
Yeah, I mean, always like, you know, you grow up, for example, in India, you're used to a certain kind of life, certain kind of people. So moving abroad has its own challenges, but I like to take those as, you know, I like to take those challenges head on. That's what I've learned. And I think there's great things you can pick and choose from every place you have been. For example, when I was in Japan, I think one of the things I learned from there was that everyone is really detail oriented, everyone is really disciplined, and you know, even things like being very kind, courteous, well-mannered. So those are things I picked up from, say, Japan. In the US, you see everyone is really, really extroverted. So, you know, they're very confident. You also learn so much about innovation, like Silicon Valley is where most of the big tech startups come from. So so over there, you know, those are some things I learned, but my goal was always to bring all these things back to India and try to, you know, be a holistic personality and have a lot of different skill sets so that I can communicate with different kinds of people from different domains, different backgrounds, and still be a successful person. So I think that is my goal. Whenever I go to any place, I try to take in the best qualities and then try to imbibe them into myself.
That's great. You've also worked with Google and Rakuten, if I'm not wrong. How was it? How was the experience, the real life there in such big companies?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think like being in those companies tells you how big the scope of tech is. You know, like for example, the kind of products I was working on, millions, if not hundreds of millions of people were using it on a daily basis, right? So then you get really, like you get so much experience into how to build for these kind of people, how to solve problems that they are facing. For example, when I was at Google, I was working in YouTube music, right? So we had to figure out, okay, how can we ensure the right music reaches the right person at the right time, especially since songs come out so quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a very interesting challenge. On the other side, when I was at Rakuten, I was working in the travel department, and that was during COVID, right? So it was really interesting. How do you build travel experiences when travel itself is very uncertain? And then on top of that, how do you scale these kind of technologies? How do you work with a lot of different team members like engineers, designers, people from the business units, etc. So a lot of great exposure, and I think like I would really recommend everyone to at least spend a year or two trying out working in like big companies, because it trains you really well. And then yeah, after that, like you can start going into smaller companies if you want, because then the learning process, you know, starts becoming more and more intense. So yeah, I kept going from big company, and now I have my own like startup, and I take a lot of learnings from all my like professional experiences in my startup.
That's very inspiring. And you've also mentioned that you have your own company, Emo Needs,
Yeah.
which is mental health tech company.
Yeah.
So did any part of you being in Google or Rakuten help you to build that entrepreneur?
Of course, yeah. So like one really great thing is the inspiration you get from working in these companies. You realize that, you know, anything is possible. For example, when Google or Rakuten started, they also started from zero at some point of time, and now they are like some of the biggest companies in the world. So I think that's an inspiration that I take into my company as well, where you have to start somewhere and then you have to work really hard to take it to a position where it could reach like say a certain Google or Rakuten level. I think another thing is that a lot of the way like how a company functions, that's something you also learn from being in these companies. So it was really good because I wasn't it wasn't just completely a black hole for me. I learned a lot about how a company functions, how to run a team, how to build a team, and how to release products that people will use. And then that kind of translated into Immuneeds. And then one thing I also learned is that, how to be creative in this kind of environment. So even healthcare as an industry is very traditional. But when you are in big tech companies, I think you learn, okay, how can you solve this problem using technology? Especially today with AI, etc. There's a lot of ways where you can solve very old problems that no one has touched using these technologies. So that's where all my interest lies.
What truly inspired you to start a company like Immuneeds? And after your background with computer science and abroad, why did you choose mental health as a topic?
Yeah, so actually this one I will also relate it back to school because, as we all grow up, we hit the teenage years, we have so much stress, so much pressure happening from many different places. And like the school was a place where I got exposed to a lot of these things as well. Both in a good way as well as, I learned how people deal with stress in positive ways and also learned how people react to certain ways. So I think that was one place where I started understanding that, okay, this is like the way physical health is important, mental health is also equally important. That was like the first step. But then after that, as I started doing a lot more research in this space, I realized that India itself is in a place where it's not taken very seriously. Stigma for mental health is a huge problem because of the way that people react if someone talks about their mental health or talks about their mental wellness. And that was something I wanted to change for our country because I've been in therapy for almost 6 years and I look at it as similar as like going to the gym. So for example, you don't go to the gym after you have, say, broken your arm or after you have some maybe health issue. You go to prevent it. And same way I see mental health and therapy where like why let it reach a stage where it starts affecting your daily quality of life, right? It's very important to have the tools and the frameworks to deal with high stress, to deal with any issues that may happen. And also if someone has like a diagnosed mental health issue, then it needs to be identified early on so that you can learn how to cope with it and how to make that your superpower, right? So those were things, and as I went through my life, I saw a lot of people around me struggle with different kinds of things, all the way from like serious mental health stuff like bipolar or schizophrenia, addictions, and also something that people everywhere face, which is stress or burnout, etc. I'm sure you are now in 12th standard. There's a lot of stress in your life as well, right? But it's very important. I'm sure you have your own ways of how to deal with that stress. So mental health is one of the very strong ways to do that, and it builds you up for life. And now coming to the technology part of it, I personally feel that in India, we don't have enough psychologists to serve everyone who needs help, right? So the stat is like you have maybe for every 1 lakh people that need help, you have maybe one psychologist for that. So that's a huge gap. So how do you cover this gap, right? And that's where technology comes in. Technology can help you scale a certain product or a certain service to many people. And another very interesting insight that we found was that a lot of people were already talking to ChatGPT. Like, do you talk to ChatGPT?
Yes, I use
right?
ChatGPT.
So a lot of people have started talking for their personal life as well. Like help from life problems, or like how should I speak to this person? How should I react to this situation? So that's a really good thing because ChatGPT or like other LLMs like Claude, Gemini, etc. They are 24/7 available, right? They are unbiased because a lot of people sometimes they are afraid to talk to someone because they feel like this person will judge me. Have you ever felt any judgment?
Yeah, that is there when people are either introverted, they don't feel like talking to someone.
Exactly.
Even if there's family there to help, they don't want to talk to them. So ChatGPT or any other AI is a very good option.
Yeah, but then the one thing I will say on the other side is that ChatGPT technically is not supposed to be like a therapist, right? So that is the gap where I thought that, okay, if the new generation is moving towards this option, what if you had a space where you can have the same conversations, but it's led by a therapist, or it's monitored in the back end so that anytime they hear something critical, the human aspect can come in immediately, and you can actually talk to a professional who can help you navigate tough situations, rather than relying on a platform which is not built for the same. So that was the idea that I had during my MBA, and I realized that India is the place where it needs to be built, because just for example, at Emo Needs we have a few projects where we are giving therapy for free in the smaller cities or villages in India, and there we go and we talk about mental health, and we realize that people don't know what the meaning of mental health is. There are no words to describe those things as well, right? But at the same time, they are also using ChatGPT, which was really, really interesting. Like, internet usage is everywhere, everyone knows how to use smartphones. So that was where I realized that, okay, if they're using ChatGPT, can we use that as a way to spread awareness about mental health, in not just in the metro cities, but in every city in India as much as possible. So now we are trying to build that out. It's a very, long and difficult journey, but it's something that I'm very passionate about, because I believe like my mission is to bring mental health care to as many people as possible, and help out not just people around me, but even the people around them, and let this, effect spread all across the country. So that's something I'm very passionate about and working hard towards.
It is a great initiative. Even with me being a teenager, the problems I face, the problems my friends face, we sometimes have no one to talk to. So it's a really nice initiative. Yeah. So since we're talking about the values Amity has taught us, what Amity values influence you to be here today, now that you're at such a big post, or starting your own company and taking it forward?
Yeah, so I think another interesting thing that I have now that I've moved back to India, but everywhere I went, I always felt like the values, the traditions that we learned in Amity, they were always with me everywhere. And like the one I still remember, modernity with tradition, that is kind of like the morals that we took along with us. And everywhere we went, I always felt very proud representing India or my school in any room, right? And I felt like everywhere I went, and when I met other Amitians as well, we were always like some of the most outspoken in the room, some of the most knowledgeable in the room as well. So I think that is something that is really, really important. And I really thank Chairperson Ma'am and all of our teachers, all the school infrastructure that taught us that, because we always held true to our values. I think there was, it's like, maybe you can remind me very clearly, the Bhag formula, which talks about hard work, it talks about ambition, it talks about, having some way of spirituality as well. So I think somewhere all of those things permeated in us all throughout whatever we did.
Rightly said, Bhag truly stands with us.
Yeah.
It means that you are an example of a true Amitian, being outspoken, truly following Bhag.
Yeah, exactly. So you tell me, how do those values inform today, like how your school experience is going?
My school experience, since I'm in 12th grade, I'm almost ending with school, 8 months. So the final 8 months actually. So I've been preparing for JEE and CBSE board. It's very stressful, as you know, you've been there. So Bhag, in fact, Amity, the values Amity teaches us, like maintaining strict discipline. So discipline really works here, like scheduling your time, the right time management, eating good food, eating healthy. If you're healthy, your mind works well. So
exactly.
That's what Amity teaches. A big thing Amity teaches. You have fruit bakes in Amity, which help you eat healthy. So the values Amity teaches really work out for me also. Since you said it works for you, they work out for me also.
No, so that's great. So even 10 years apart, the values remain the same. And I think that's one of, even after 10 years, I can talk about the things I learned in school and how they are relevant today. That means whatever systems were set in a really nice way. So I'm actually very happy to hear that as well. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience, sharing your time, and being a true Amitian.
Yeah, of course. And I'm really excited to hear all the future podcasts, like all the alumni, all the cool things that they're doing. And if any students anytime wanna discuss mental health or entrepreneurship, engineering, etc., I'm always available for them. I think that's another thing that Amity, like I'm very proud to help anyone who passes the Amity halls. And I am sure that any Amity you meet anywhere, the moment you say they are from your school or they are from the same community,
there's a connect you feel.
There's an immediate connection, and you and I are from the same school as well. So I immediately feel like your big brother. So I also wish you all the best. I think you're about to do some really cool and hard things, but it's going to be a great journey. I think you have all the right skill set, you have all the right values to take you wherever you want to go. So good luck with that as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the first episode of Amity Impact Podcast. Stay tuned for the next one, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.